What do you want me to do? You want me to dance?
Yeah.
Okay, it's playing. Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Every mountain is climbed one step at a time, and every great journey begins with a single stride. We're here to help you realize your true potential, one conversation at a time.
Remember, cathedrals weren't built overnight, but they were built by laying one brick at a time. And today, we're laying those bricks together.
Prepare to break through the barriers of the ordinary. With laughter as our compass and knowledge as our guide, let's explore the extraordinary.
Because living with positivity isn't just an act, it's an art. And we're here to help you master it.
So tune in, turn up the volume, and get ready to transform your life and make the 1% shift with The Human Now.
That was in sync.
Yeah, man.
That was beautiful.
And knowledge as our guide.
And knowledge as our guide.
Yes.
Beautiful.
How are we doing, man?
Very good. Very good. Interesting you speak about knowledge.
What do we have in store today? Oh my gosh, I cannot believe it.
I don't know. It's a big one. It's a big one.
It's the one I've been waiting for.
Yeah, it's been a huge deal. We've been sitting on this one for a few weeks now.
Yeah.
But it was an honor and a pleasure.
Oh, big time.
And really, really big moment for us on the podcast, I think.
Huge impact, right?
Yeah. But before we speak about that, should we do some gratitude? Or do we do morale check first?
Morale, man. Where the vibes at, bro? This guy's excited. This guy's on the edge of his seat. He can't wait to get into the episode.
That's right.
Where's the vibes, man?
I'm at a 10.
Oh,
I'm at a 10. I'm at all-time 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, very excited about this episode. I rewatched it today.
Yeah.
People will understand what I mean.
Yeah.
Surely. And yeah, really, really just. I think the more I watch it, the more I take out from it.
Definitely.
And so that's going to be important for our audience. But we'll follow that. So I'm at a 10, man. What about yourself?
I have to match, man.
Yeah.
I'm meeting you there.
Nice.
I'm definitely feeling like a 10. I'm sitting in myself, you know?
Yeah.
Just from, like, again, with what's coming, it's going to make sense. And that's it. That's where I am.
Absolutely. Let's do the gratitude now.
All right.
Here we go. Let's get into it.
So, Perry, this week, man, what are you grateful for?
Yeah, man. This week I am grateful for, this is like something I'm pretty sure I've said before, but it's something that I continuously think about. And it's my ability to think outside of the box. So I'm grateful for whatever it was that gave me this ability. But I'm grateful for myself for having this ability to think outside of the box, to think and look at problems in a different way. So just my ability to think out of the box and approach things differently. Yeah. I found it be very beneficial in work and in life.
I've seen that play firsthand, and I've seen what can eventuate from the ability that you have, and just beautiful things have been created. So many people have been impacted by that. No, that's amazing, man.
Thank you. But self-gratitude today.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
I've been thinking and reflecting on it this week. I'm grateful for the problems I got.
Yeah.
You know, like the problems that I got in my hand and on my plate, I could have a lot worse. You know, and the ones that I've got, they're testing me, going through trials, you know, could be a lot worse. So
yeah, for sure.
I'm just happy with the ones that I have.
Yeah. I think I was just telling the boys, actually, this is crazy that you mentioned this. I was just telling the boys on, I think it was Saturday night. It was the night before the 1st of September, right? And I said to them, you know, spring is starting next week. Tomorrow. And so what does it mean what does spring mean? They said, you know, it means new things are starting to grow. And I said, that's right. And I said, you know, in order for us to grow, I think we should take on a challenge. And that challenge should be something that's hard, right? Because I believe that growth only comes through things that are hard. So your trials and tribulations, the problems that you've got, are only going to result in growth.
Definitely.
Whether it's the result that you desire or require, we don't know if that's going to happen. But the ultimate benefit is growth. So it's really beautiful that that's something that you're grateful for.
Big
not
time,
looking
man.
at it as a problem.
Mm-hmm. And it's hard out there for everyone right now.
For sure.
People are struggling with things, and it's sort of just, it's humbling also, it's a process of humbling yourself to just be like, okay, this is my hand, and I could be worse off.
Absolutely.
So let me just be grateful for what I've got, whether it's good or bad. And in this case,
Beautiful.
All right, man.
Nice.
It's time.
It is time. Finally. We can apologize for getting the order wrong, but
No.
like you said, I'm excited. So let's talk about what's happening on today's episode.
So a couple of weeks back, we had the opportunity to sit down with two amazing people, which we'll introduce in the episode.
Yep.
Just a bit of background to this. The people we sat down with, and the reason why we're bringing this in now is it kind of all fits with the discussion of what we've been talking about. So understanding what that higher purpose is and realizing that true potential within, like with what we talk about in the intro.
Yep.
And I guess this is also an insight into where we get our knowledge and the truth. And this opportunity that we had was a source of that truth. It was that direct connection. So it's an interview with two of our spiritual gurus.
Yep.
And we talk about what a superpower, how to find our superpower. And I think both you and I had some major revelations.
Yes.
Basically like a slap in the face moment, where we kind of reset us.
Yeah, for sure. I think we went into the episode thinking one thing.
Oh yeah.
And then, like you said, the spiritual slap in the face, which I say in the episode as well, hit us, and realizing that we're actually thinking about something else.
Yeah.
And it was just that opportunity to redirect, refocus, which I think we needed, especially at this point in time that we're both in at the moment.
It's crucial.
Yeah. So very, very, like I said, very honored. I want to thank Ishaanji for making it happen.
Definitely.
And Swami Aparokshananada for being here. So should we let them check out the episode now?
Yeah, before we get into it, I just want to say, take this with an open mind.
Yeah.
There's you don't have to be whatever way you are spiritually inclined, there's so many learnings to unpack from this. And I guess that's what we want to bring to the table, is that this is knowledge worth sharing.
Yes.
And everyone can take something out of it.
For sure.
And I guess for us, it's that 1% shift. So without further ado, here we go.
So today on the show, we have two very special guests. Ishaanji, who is a resident teacher of Chinmaya Mission Auckland. We will meet him again in future episodes. So today I want to focus on Swamiji. As a resident teacher of Chinmaya Mission Perth, Swamiji conducts regular classes, workshops, camps, retreats on human values, philosophy, meditation, and Hindu culture to youth and children of all backgrounds and faith. He is a beacon of knowledge. He is extremely articulate. He is hilarious, one of the funniest in Orange. He is Swami Aparokshananada. And we are so honored to have him on our show. Swamiji, welcome, and thank you for being here and gracing us with your presence.
Thank you.
Excellent. Should we get into it?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for being here, Swamiji. I feel like for our audience, where you could say that you guys are monks, and they do not reside in the Himalayas.
Suburban monks.
These ones. Suburban monks.
Suburban monks.
But I feel, we're very grateful Perry and I are very grateful to be around the knowledge and the mission that we have unlimited access to you both. This is just unreal. I feel like we're both just sitting here fizzing, and it's just next level. right now. So yes, we're very thankful. Today, what we wanted to talk about was through our podcast, The Human Now, we want to try and help people realize their true potential. And we'll get into what potential is. But for us to help people realize their true potential, we often equate that to you being able to find that through knowing what your superpower is. What is it that makes you special? What ignites you? What is that thing that you're going to do that you'll be able to use to serve the world?
Yeah.
You know, what's that one thing that makes you unique? And I guess you'll go into it, but was there anything else that you feel I need to add on to that?
Oh, I think that's it. I think, like you said, we believe that in order to reach your potential, there is that something inside each and every one of us that is unique to everyone or unique to each individual person. And we want to know what that is and how do we discover it. So yeah, should we get into it?
Take it away.
So I guess the first question is what is a superpower and how do we, what is it?
Okay. Does he want to answer first? Or
Yeah.
do I want to answer?
No, Swamiji can go first.
You start.
Swamiji has told you you have to answer first. So you answer first.
Then I'll correct him.
Yeah.
Kidding.
Putting me on the spot, Swamiji. I guess, like you put it, your superpower, what we call as swabhava in spiritual language, is what makes you uniquely you, what makes me uniquely me. And it's that one thing that not only just defines me, but what makes me tick, what inspires me to achieve or do and be the best version of myself. And it'll be so different for everyone. It requires a little bit of digging in to figure out what that is for each one of us. And once you've discovered it, it just makes life so much easier and simpler because you know that this is it that fulfills you. This is it that brings you peace and happiness and gives a sense of meaning to everything that you do. And I guess that's our superpower in a simple
Spiritual
language.
terms,
Would that be right, Swamiji?
Yeah, I think it's actually quite a tough thing to kind of discuss because it's got a lot of layers to it.
Yep.
So if I think about it, the way I've kind of think about it now, I did think about it differently earlier on, but now I kind of think about it differently as, you've kind of matured or whatever you want to call it. Initially, I would have seen it, as a talent or a skill set that you possess or, even a goal or a purpose. Now I tend to look at it as a state of being. Swabhava actually means that. Swabhava in Sanskrit means a state of being. Your own natural state of being. So like water has a state of being, cool, wet. Fire has a state of being, which is warmth and light. And this state of being is when you find a very effortless existence. Your existence is very effortless. Yeah? You're not having to work at anything. It's you being you. Yeah? Then so I almost see it more as like being aligned to this state of being. When you're aligned to this state of being, it's like your subconscious and your conscious mind just become perfectly aligned. Effortlessness, cheerfulness, joy in what you do, which sometimes we call inspiration, but I don't want to confuse inspiration with excitement and motivation because they're slightly different. Yeah. Motivation is something that you get from external. People fire you up, hype you up. Your energy goes high, and you may not be actually in your state of being. you're actually borrowing their energy. You're getting excited. And then what we find is in all our spiritual camps, the minute the great master leaves, everyone plummets back down, right? Which means actually I was motivated. Yeah. But I took their energy, and their energy kind of raised me to a certain level. Yeah. But it doesn't mean I necessarily found my own natural state. Because when you discover your own natural state of being, your whole life just becomes a very effortless existence. Things are happening without you having to make them happen. But things are actually happening, like tremendous things are happening. You are having an impact. You are having an influence on the world. Yeah. But your focus is almost not on your impact. Your focus is actually on your alignment. You're more focused on you being aligned to your state of being than rather than what impact am I having on the rest of the world. When you are perfectly aligned, you will have the greatest impact that you are destined to have. Yeah. And sometimes you're oblivious of it. And so I know even our masters, they're obviously very aligned. They're perfectly aligned to their state of being. And they don't even know the impact that they're having upon the world. That someone watched one of their YouTube videos, which was recorded 14 years ago, and that person got inspired by that. And they're like, I don't know. Yeah. I've never met this person, but this person becomes extremely devoted to them. And then it's just like, wow, you have changed my life, but we never met this person. But what changed their life was the fact that the master was in that state of alignment. So they were expressing themselves from this state of alignment. Yeah. And so initially when I thought of it as a talent, it kind of became something a little bit further away from alignment. It kind of felt like it's something I need to work at, something I need to create, a talent that I need to enhance.
Develop, yeah.
And now I look at it differently. Rather than building something, it's more of a process of actually uncarving, so to speak. Revealing, you know what I mean? Just removing actually what's external and dross. It's more like that process is how I see it. And then whatever is left, that's actually who you are. That is actually your state of being. Calling it a superpower as well, I don't know if that gives a connotation that I need to have massive impact on the world. And sometimes the confusion that I feel that can be there is there comes the desire to have impact upon the world. And that desire can sometimes deviate you from your actual state of being.
Right.
When you're trying to be someone who you're not really destined to be. I'm trying to be the next innovator. I'm trying to be the next disruptor. Well, maybe you're not destined to be that. Yeah. Maybe you're destined to be a great parent that has tremendous impact upon 2 children. And maybe that's it. And maybe that is the greatest impact you will have upon the world. Maybe your child will become a person who innovates, and disrupts the system or creates something fantastic. And maybe their gratitude is, I had the greatest father there was. And that was who you were supposed to be. You were supposed to be the father, not the one who changed the whole world. Yeah. So sometimes when I look at the superpower concept, people, I feel sometimes feel this need that I must change the world. And in trying to change the world, I feel we can actually deviate from our actual state of being. And it kind of takes away that maybe your state of being is to be, like I said, a wonderful parent, a loving, father or a caring mother, and that could be a person perfectly in their swabhava or state of being. We have teachers, volunteer teachers, and I have seen, middle-aged ladies that are just the most amazing children's teachers ever. And really, this lady was just so perfectly aligned when she taught children, culture. that I was just even entranced and enchanted. There was just something about her that was just wow. But at the end of the day, she taught 30 children, you know, probably 20 children for 1.5 hours a week. You know, she might have done it for 10, 15 years. But I don't know in the annals of time, in the pages of history, if she'll be remembered as a person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who had tremendous impact. But I know the children that studied under her, that's it. They all remember her and they all want to go see her 10 years, 15 years later.
Yeah.
And I know the greatness of this lady. Yeah. But I don't think anyone else is going to know. Only those few that knew her will know her impact, you know? And to me, she was perfectly aligned. She was perfectly aligned. And she was so natural and it was so effortless for her to be in that state. So I look at it more now, like I said, in coming into your natural state of being, which is a process of probably carving or removing or revealing the dross and the unnecessary rather than trying to create something that now has to go do something in the world. Yeah. So that's how I see it. The process of discovery may involve, a need to have impact in the process of discovery. But I think the actual superpower is just you being who you are.
Aligned, yeah.
Aligned. That alignment is very important. And when you are aligned, I think you are free of insecurity. I think that's one of the things. You just don't feel insecure. And when you don't feel insecure, you don't feel the need to prove to anyone anything. And that's why the need to become a great person is not there.
Yeah.
If you're trying to be a great person, you're not aligned.
Right.
If you're just trying to be yourself and incidentally you become a great person, that could be a byproduct. But you may not become a great person from world standards.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you being you is
great.
That's it. That's what you're intended to be.
Yeah.
You know? So that's how I kind of look at it. If you're asking me what is the superpower, I don't know if this is a kind of exciting, method of looking at it. But yeah, once you get into that alignment, because it's effortless, you're consistent. Yeah. You're always like that. You're always like that. And then people view you as always like that. You know, that person was always like that. And that's how they see greatness. You can't be temporarily like that. You can't be for a period of time great. And then after that, the job was done. And then what happened to all those qualities and greatness? It just kind of dissolved. Yeah. There has to be a consistency. Like water is always wet. Doesn't matter where you put it. Fire is always going to burn. It doesn't matter where you put it. Yeah. You can put it in the Antarctic. It's still going to be hot.
Yep.
Yeah. Because it's in alignment with its natural state of being. That's how I kind of see it.
It was just a big spiritual slap in the face for me there. It was really cool. Do you want to add anything to that, Ishaanji?
No, I think living an effortless life where we have, as Swamiji said, discovered for ourselves who we are is underrated. We all aspire to greatness and having a huge impact. And these are standards that the world has kind of put in us, that this is what everyone must achieve. And when you do this, you're great. But to be at peace with yourself, to be in alignment with who you truly are, is truly a superpower. So it was really nicely put by Swamiji.
Yeah. It's not flashy, right? It's like you said, you don't become.
It may be flashy, it may not be flashy, but
but it's not perceived as flashy, right? Because you're not out there achieving big things, making a big impact in the world, and but because of that, is that why you think it's not given priority or any significance?
I think as a society, we are more driven by externalities rather than an inner state of being.
Yeah.
And therefore our focus is just on the wrong things. That's it. What's an example of finding that alignment.
Mm.
You know, like you said, just for if your natural flow is to just be a parent, but you're thinking that you're going to be the next
Michael
Jordan. Exactly. You
Yeah.
know, like what is, or even just being the director at your work.
Mm.
You know, so we're kind of weighing up family and work.
Yeah. So like I said, that lady that I talked about, that Balvihar teacher, she's a great example of a person. And she doesn't want to be remembered in the annals of time. She doesn't want that. She just wanted to be herself. And being herself was teaching 30 children every week culture. That was being herself, you know? And she loved it. And so she didn't want a legacy. She didn't want a brand name, you know? She didn't want to be known. And so that's who she was intended to be. I think she's a person, who had a lot of clarity about it. She never tried to be anything she wasn't. We actually did put her in positions of leadership, but she kind of quietly, you know, refused them. I like being the teacher. She didn't want to be the leader, you know? I think one thing that's we can get caught with is the difference between recognition and respect. And there's a difference between the two. Recognition means you are seen and known by a large group of people. Yeah? You are popular. You are a big thing. You are known by a lot of people. Yeah? That's called recognition. Respect means people admire you for being you. That group that admires you could be very small because your group around you might be small. So it could just be your child, and it could just be, you know, the local community, the 5 or 10 friends that you're networked with. You know, it could just be that, but they got tremendous respect for you. It could be your company that's got 14 employees, but they're like, this guy's a great boss to work for. And I loved it. It was a wonderful time working at this company, you know? So you can have respect. Recognition will come to certain personalities who are meant to sit on big stages. There are some personalities that's what they are intended to become. Yeah? Like Michael Jordan was intended to sit on a big stage. That's who he was. Yeah? Not only was he a great athlete, but actually he knew how to handle the pedestal. Whereas a lot of people don't. A lot of people are good athletes, but they don't know how to handle the pedestal. He could handle media. Yeah? He was articulate. He was very clear, and he was extremely well managed in front of a microphone and a camera. He never spoke anything that was a reaction. Everything was really well delivered. And that team was easy. It was very effortless for him. Whereas many other athletes that are great, put them in front of a microphone and they'll say something silly. And then all of a sudden, we can't keep you on the pedestal because even though you're a great athlete, you're a fool. So sponsors won't pick you up.
Yep.
You know? So all of a sudden, endorsements don't come through. And then you're kind of got a different reputation. Great athlete, but nah, I don't want him as a role model for my child. Yeah? And that's because they were not intended for public recognition. They were intended to do their job very well. And doing their job, they were respected. But they were not intended to be for public recognition. So we must be clear about these two things. We should, again, alignment, not that we are seeking it, but alignment invariably will muster feelings of admiration from the people around you. Whether or not you have a global reach, we do not know. To have a global reach, you have a personality. Yeah? You have to just have a personality that has certain traits, that just loves to travel, loves to meet new people, and you've got to have a head that can handle all forms of criticism, because that's what comes with recognition. With recognition comes massive criticism, and very few people can handle that. You know, some people, one bad comment on their, you know, whatever, you know, your video.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's it. Oh, I'm doing a bad job. You know, let's close it up because someone put a thumbs down and these guys don't know what they're talking about. Right?
Yeah.
No, if you're going for public recognition, you got to be able to handle public criticism. And that's the nature of the world. They will build you up. They will deify you. And then once you're at the top achieving everything, they get tired of it. They get bored of it. And they're like, oh, the same guy winning all the time. Let's go poke around and see what's going on. There's got to be something behind that he does. And that's what they do. They do it with everyone.
Yeah.
They did it with him as well. You know, they did it with Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
He invented all these great things. And let's just talk about his daughter. You know, the relationship with his daughter was pretty toxic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like no one even knew that he had this daughter.
Yeah.
You know? But, you know, once you're sitting on the top, people want to pull you down. And if you're intended for recognition, you're comfortable with that. That stage, it's comfortable for you, you know? And so I think we got to be clear about these two things, you know? It's okay to inspire respect, or to be a respectful person is what you should aim for. You don't need to be a person of public recognition. Yeah? So I don't know if that aligns back to your question.
Yeah. How does one discover their swabhava then?
Ishaan can start. And then
And you're correct.
No, not correct. I'll add on. If there's anything to add on, he might know.
I think it begins with a lot of introspection. Just trying to cull out external influences and trying to discover what makes me, me. And it requires reflecting back on our day-to-day life, our aspirations, our thought processes, our decision-making, what gives us joy, what gives us sorrow, to figure out what is it that is essentially me, without which, no matter what I have, I would still be incomplete. I think for me, when I went on this journey of discovery of my swabhava, this introspection was the starting point, and it's an ongoing thing because it keeps on getting refined, and you find bits that are still not required, and you take them off to really figure out who you truly are. I think that's a nice, simple starting point that everyone can undertake.
What do you mean by take them off? Do you just mean you just don't do that ever again, or don't entertain that thought?
No, I don't think it's not entertaining the thought, but to understand what's essential and what's non-essential and how much importance we give to it. Often we are caught up pleasing other people or living up to certain expectations, which are not really me. And so as certain roles and responsibilities, yes, we may have to do them and we still engage with them, but I know that that is not essentially me. What constitutes me and what makes me me is something different to that. And that is what I should pay greater attention to.
Yeah. I think you said something similar in the last class that or a couple of classes ago on our Tuesday class.
Yes.
And then I asked you a question about how do I get Raghav and Laksh? How do I help them discover their swabhava? These are my two boys who are 9 and 7. And you said just observe at this stage, right? You can't push them in any one way, but you observe them, and then when it gets to a point, you can then help them align to something a career at least that is in line with their swabhava. So I've decided that Raghav is no, I haven't decided. I should have said that. At this point, I've observed, and at this point in time, Raghav is going to be some sort of a diplomat or politician, and Laksh is going to be a clown for sure. He's
the funniest guy.
He's a clown or some sort of a stand-up comedian or something.
Comedian, maybe not a clown.
He's got the wit.
He's a billionaire stand-up comedian, the next Jerry Seinfeld.
So I've decided that he's going to be he's my retirement fund. He's going to be a billionaire stand-up comedian.
Yeah. And so introspection is
That's Perry just fulfilling his swabhava.
And I am the dad to that, right? That is me.
And introspection is observing oneself,
course,
right? In retrospect, trying to understand ourselves better.
So just practically, what does that look like?
I guess if we want to practically look at introspection, I think Swamiji took it really nicely in one of our workshops yesterday. But
what we can start off with is at the end of each day, and we can do this for a period of 3 months, to just sit down and go through your daily routines, your experiences, and what experiences left behind the most significant impact. What comes to your mind naturally, good and bad, and just objectively writing them down, not judging them, but to figure out, okay, this interaction I enjoyed, this interaction I did not enjoy. Why did I not enjoy it? What I felt was good, what I felt was bad, what could have been done better. And when we do this practice, we understand ourselves better. And I say 3 months because the first few weeks you sit down to write and reflect about your day, nothing will probably come out.
Yeah.
And we need to give it enough time where we are at peace with what we are, and those thoughts are flowing freely, and we are open to discovering ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We just haven't done this job in lifetimes
Yeah.
of observing our mind and looking at who we are. It does take a time. It takes a while to get going.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Forget lifetimes. I think you tell someone to do something for 3 months and they're like, "No, that's too long, bro."
21 days even.
Yeah. So, Anji, what are your thoughts?
So I think, again, there's different layers depending on, again, how much practice we've had with this and how distracted our mind or wild our mind is, and that's okay. Start wherever you can. So if you look at it, your state of being is essentially what we're going to get to.
Mhm.
That will then express externally in the form of certain qualities or temperaments. Yeah. And then that then expresses in activity, certain types of activity.
Yep.
Yeah. So although the essence is the state of being, there are expressions now of it. Yeah. Limited expressions. And so I think if we're really not able to get too deep, start from the outside. And the outside can just be, like Ishaan was saying, note down what you do with your day, right? But with what you do with your day, I also say, what activities did you find yourself being self-driven?
Mhm.
I think anything where you find yourself self-driven and you are, again, motivated to perfect or master or improve. Any activity that you find yourself doing because you want a level of mastery of this thing. So that kind of shows that you have a lot of interest in that. You know, you have a natural, no one's telling you to do this. You know, no one's saying you have to get this done. There's no deadline, there's no pressure. It's just something you keep chipping away at. And it could start off with things that you keep Googling all the time. You know, what things do you keep looking at all the time, and what's your interest? Are you always looking to financial markets? Are you always looking to how do you make more money? Well, that's indicating something. Yeah. Some people might be looking to management. Yeah. Some people are looking to learning about philosophy or spirituality. Yeah. So see where your activities are spread, and the activities especially that are not forced, but the activities that you almost just take up in your leisure time. Again, not downtime. Leisure time here means you're feeling well rested, but you have time off. What do? You know, where do you naturally gravitate towards? Yeah. So I think that's the basic mode of trying to explore this Swabhava superpower.
Mhm.
Then from there, I think you got to trace it back. You can go next level is the kind of skills, talents, strengths that are now associated with that.
Yep.
So you might find I like listening to talks that are analytical. So I like listening to speakers that are analytical. I like them when they're structured.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like it when they take a topic, they define things, and then they roll out things in a very structured, the what, why, and the how. And I find myself gravitating towards those speakers. There are other speakers that are storytellers, narrators, and I don't enjoy them as much. So I'll always keep clicking on the guy that's more structured and organized, and then I keep thinking, I want my thought to be structured and organized. So now I've gone from an activity to now recognizing a tendency. Yeah. That I like structure and I'll always keep working on structure, defining terms, seeing that there's a flow of thought. Yeah. And so then you start noticing there's a gravitation towards a certain skill enhancement. Yeah. And you are naturally driven to do this. Again, no one is telling you, there's no pressure and there's no financial remuneration based on this. It is just something I love doing. Yeah. Once you get to that level of introspection, you're actually doing really well. You're doing extremely well for identifying, close to your state of alignment. And then deeper than that is, like I said, that state of being. Yeah. There's a state of being that allows you to apply this or express in this way. Yeah. And that's the deepest level. But I think you can always start with these two levels to start off with. And it's the journey within, and, like I said, you've got to keep financial remuneration out of it. And I think you have to keep global impact out of it. It's just got to be, how do I get to being me? Yeah. And if it has global impact, great. And if it doesn't, it's also okay, because the goal is you be you. Yeah. That's how I look at it.
So I think what we want to know is, why do people find it hard to flow with their swabhava, or that once they're in that alignment, right?
Yeah, well,
like,
I think
it's too good to be true.
Yeah. Like, I think everything that Swami said is makes complete sense, and everyone should discover their swabhava and work in alignment with that, and life is then easy, right? Why are people not aligning with it?
Distraction. Distraction.
Of the outside world?
Yeah, distraction is always from outside. So constant engagement with external stimulus, which is a challenge since the invention of the smartphone. That the smartphone was a big game changer for mental health. That's what we had a seminar yesterday with psychologists, and they said it's a big game changer.
Yeah.
There's always been game changers. The radio to the TV, to video games, Sega, Nintendo.
Yep.
They were all they were small, but they were not massive. But we can slowly see everyone's getting a bit more distracted. We're getting disconnected from the people in the house because we sit and plant ourselves in front of the TV. That was 40 years ago. Yeah. So you didn't talk to your parents because you're sitting there watching a TV show. Yeah. But everyone was still sitting in the same room. It was still somewhat communal. But the smartphone and the amount of information that's accessible and distraction. When I say information, it sounds like we're becoming educated. It's not. It's just entertainment. It's just entertainment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The amount of entertainment that's available on it. It's that fun, convenient choice that we keep making, and the more you engage with external distraction, your mind loses a capacity to dwell and sit comfortably with itself. Because it's almost like, I can't sit by myself. I got to just swipe something. I just need to swipe something. So it's a training. We've trained ourselves into it, but we can also train ourselves out of it. And so I think that's the major reason why we struggle to identify or get a feel for the swabhava. The identification is not writing it on a piece of paper and then saying, "Oh, I found it."
Yep.
It's not that. It's a feeling, because it's that flow state. Yeah. So I think the flow state comes from within. But because we're so externally preoccupied and hankering for a distraction outside, that we're almost just not interested to turn our attention within. So it's just we have to do in small gaps. And one of the things is we really have to take a hard line on our own engagement with social media or technology. That we have to take a hard line. And that's personal. You have to figure out how much is enough. And let's not fool ourselves that we're learning things. We're largely entertaining ourselves. Half the things you even see on, YouTube, and you can watch all these things and think they're educational. They're not. It's just people spewing out their reactions. Now they're actually called reactions. And I'm like, from a spiritual point of view, these are terrible. You know what I mean? These are things you're trying to avoid.
Yeah.
And now they just said this person reacted to that person's interview. I'm like, who cares how this person reacted to that person's interview? Right? I actually wanted to watch the basketball match, not to find out why a third person reacted to a second person's interview, but we're fascinated with that.
Mhm.
You know, so it's like, cut that out. You know, okay, you want to watch cricket match, watch the cricket match. You don't need to watch 17 different people giving their opinions of an interview of a cricket player.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I think it's just reducing the amount of entertainment that we're running after. And then you should spend, it depends on how much you can tolerate, but at least 10 to 15 minutes where you are in nature. I would suggest a walk in a park, which is well known, familiar to you. Don't go for new places. New places, again, part of your brain has to keep looking for threats.
Mhm.
So when you go for your natural walk around the block, the normal park, and you just completely flight mode your phone, or if you can, don't even take it. Yeah. Introspection also should never be done on the phone, in my opinion. It should always be done with a pad and a pen. Emotion is caught when you write things down. When you have a revelation and you write it down, emotion gets trapped in paper. Emotion doesn't get trapped on devices.
Mhm.
You know, that's why people used to write love letters to each other. And then you would keep that love letter because it felt like that person's emotion, their thing is in it. And the same thing happens with introspection. When you write it, emotion is trapped in those writings. And so I would almost, if possible, don't even take your device with you. Go for a walk, but carry a notepad and pen. Yeah. And just allow thoughts to come to you. And then just jot down the theme of the thoughts.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be the exact thought. It's the theme that you're trying to figure out.
Right.
What theme keeps reoccurring. That becomes an indicator as to your fascination and alignment. That this thing's important to you. Yeah. That's how
Thank you. It's very very insightful, very powerful. Thank you.
So many learnings, and I think just help to give us a bit more clarity as well. I feel like we're gonna just take a lot out of what you both had to
Mhm.
share today, even just on our own personal journey and how this affects us in our own life. You know, as husbands, your father, you know, and in the work, just all round. You know, I don't know. I often have those types of thoughts where I'm like, do I need to be the world's best architect? No, like it's just, you know, like it's just not naturally wanting to be there. I just want to be really good. I don't, like you're saying, and you know, like just having the clarity come through, saying that, yeah, if you don't have that natural tendency, then why are you trying to achieve it?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Any final thoughts or words, Ishaanji, from
Nope, I think Swamiji summarized it really nicely. Nothing to add.
you? Excellent.
I just want to, thank you so much for your time, your energy, just gracing us with the clarity and the knowledge. I hope it's definitely come through to us too.
Yeah.
I hope whoever's listening on the other end, that's, you know, the knowledge has come across. We definitely will see Ishaanji in
Definitely.
the studio again. And if you're ever in the neighborhood and catching a flight, you're more than welcome, Swamiji, to come and spend some time with us. We really do appreciate you taking some time out. I know you're very busy as well being here.
I'm actually not, but people love having the impression that Swamis are super busy. So again, it's a bit of a misnomer. So,
Oh, well,
In that case, let's go again.
just
Let's
keep
go.
going.
I keep myself occupied, but I'm rarely busy. But it's good to keep an impression that you're busy. It also keeps people away from you.
Perfect. Thank you so much,
You're welcome.
Swamiji. Thank you,
Adios.
Ishaanji.
Hadio.
Hadio.
All right, and welcome back to the present. So, like we said, we shot that a couple of weeks ago. We held on to it because there's multiple reasons, but
It's all grace, man.
it's all grace.
It's
all-
timing, place, the universe.
yeah,
It does it for a reason, and it's happened at the right time.
for sure.
And oh my gosh, I can't believe all the learnings that were in there. There's so much more to unpack.
Yep.
And I think, you know, people might struggle to understand a few of the words or the ideas that were discussed.
Mhm.
So we're going to break it down in the next episode.
Yes. Yep. But before we do that, I think it's important throughout the week or however you listen to this, before you move on to the next episode, I would say go and watch this one again.
Oh, 100%.
Like I said, the more I listen to it, the more things I take away from it. So go in and listen again. And I think it's important to reiterate what you said at the start, Akash. I don't think it matters what faith you come from or how you're spiritually or religiously inclined. We're not trying to push anyone religion or way of life or anything like that on anyone, right? We just say that this is what is what we connect to, and we want to share that with whoever will benefit from it. We think everyone can benefit from it, therefore we've shared it. But we've said right from the start, I think actually it might have been an episode that we didn't air, that we're going to have multiple religious leaders on here from different faiths, because we want to hear it all. We know that we can get lessons from everywhere, and so we're not limiting ourselves. This is just one where an opportunity came about to speak to one of a spiritual teacher that we look up to, and we had to take the opportunity. We're not pushing any one religion. I just want to make that really, really clear.
100%. And if there's any episode you re-listen to multiple times on The Human Now,
this is it.
That is the one. Perfect.
Cool.
Until next time,
Be human, be now.